I watched it Monday. Didn't you understand?
You said you saw it 20 years ago. Why would I want to watch it again or whatever?
It's called a fucking joke.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to talk like Chris. It sounds stupid, right?
No.
It sounds stupid, right?
It was a joke. It was a friggin' joke.
Man, I can't wait to get this podcast started. It is. God damn, who's calling me now?
I don't know. We can never do podcasts with Mark. He's too famous.
What?
Dude. He's too famous and shit. He's too famous for the podcast fuckers.
TMZ Ramos over here.
So the Omen was released on June 6, 1976. June 6, getting it over, dude. Getting it over. It was made on a budget of $2.8 million and made $60 million. They did do a remake, I think, like in 2006.
Yes.
I'm sure it was released June 6th as well, but I'm not
Oh,
sure.
I get it.
Yeah, you get it, Ed. So this is, I think there's 3 Omen films as far as the original Omen, I think a trilogy. The guy from Jurassic Park comes out in part 3 and then part 2. I've seen them all. It's been forever. There might be more of them. Yeah, there actually is. There's 5. So I was completely off. There's 5 fucking Omens. But I've only seen the first 3. All the other ones can kiss my fucking fat ass, as the old Christopher J likes to say. So, Mark, you said you had seen this movie 20 years ago?
Oh, probably longer than that, son.
How over was it back then for you compared to now?
Dude, so I can understand it now.
Right?
The fuck's going on? Uh-huh.
Did Ernesto get to watch it with you, dude, or you watched it by yourself?
Well, when you want to ask that motherfucker, well, he's sitting right here, dude.
Yeah, let me talk to him, dude.
Hold on, let me give him the phone. Hold on. Hey, man, what's going on, man?
Hey, Ernesto, dude, thanks for fixing my AC, dude.
Oh, man, it's no problem, man. It's the best. It's the least I can do, man. I'm not like that other one over there, you know? He don't do nothing. He don't do nothing but eat, man. You know? That's all he does. Just fucking eat and sweat. That's all. How do you eat and sweat at the same time, man? How is that possible?
Dude, and then when it's 60-something degrees, right, and he's still, I don't know how he does it. He gets over, though. But how did you like The Omen, Ernesto?
Oh, it's a little too scary for me, man. I didn't even finish seeing it. It's too scary, man. You see, I'm in the attic all day, man. So I get scared how easy it is. I'm in a dark place. I'm not gonna watch it up there, man. It's too scary for me, man.
You watch the DVD, or are you scrubbing on it, or what do you mean by watch it, dude?
I watch it, man. I gotta watch it. I can't watch it, man.
Chris,
too scary.
Hey, Chris, do you know what he's talking about? Washing a DVD, dude.
I'm pretty sure due to his vernacular that he means watch, as in to view with your eyes.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, because what the fuck I mean, man? So watch, man. I'm fucking watch the movie. Well, thanks to fucking smart boy over there. He fucking knows everything. But he don't know when to take your girlfriend a fucking birthday present or nothing. It don't make no sense, man.
Hey, Ernesto, what part of Havana are you from?
There's no Havana, man. From fucking Mexico, man.
Yeah,
you see that Al Pacino did fucked up accent in Scarface. Dude, it sounds fucking phony.
Are you saying that Al Pacino was just doing a regular Mexican accent, dude?
He's doing a fucked up accent, man.
He's doing
fucking stupid.
A Mexican AC repair guy accent. Is that what he raised?
Yeah, he's doing a fucking workaround, man. That's all he's doing. He could have worked harder on the accent, man. No fucking workaround. He like somebody I know, man. But I don't want to talk about him.
You don't want to bring up any names. All right, we got it, Ernesto. All right, well, we're gonna have you come back during the show periodically to get you over, but you don't want to take too much of Mark's time. But you gonna bring Marky Dangerously back here, dude?
Now, let me give this fucking stud a fucking fuck. That's a good-looking motherfucker, but I don't know why y'all run him down, you know? He like the other one. I don't know why the other one just hates him. I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
He just talk bad about him.
Yeah.
But let me get the phone, man. This motherfucker.
Thanks, man. Fucking Ernesto, man. He's over.
All right, dude. I'm here.
Oh,
this
dude.
motherfucker, He's just sitting back drinking a Corona, dude.
That's
Just
all he
fucking.
does, dude.
He just had a fucking Corona and a fucking big old plate of fajitas, dude. I mean, it's nothing like the ones that Chris would make, but it's a big one, dude. It's a big one.
Is he just drinking, walking, doing that Ernesto walk around your house, dude?
Yeah, dude, he's that motherfucker. He's walking around the pool right now, and he's got that. He's got the beer. He's got the beer in his fucking his tool little sash, dude. You know, around his waist. He has fucking beer in his side, dude.
And
fucking pants falling down.
And then going the opposite way. The opposite way
yeah.
is Richard, dude. Richard's going the opposite way, just walking in circles, dude.
Mhm. And that motherfucker has a $1,500. He always bragging about that $1,500 watch, dude. Can you believe that shit? He's always bragging about it.
Yeah, he's trying to get over, dude. He's trying to
I'm like, if this fucking $30 watch, dude, what the fuck do you need a $1,500 watch for?
Well, dude, when you're just pocketing tax-free money all fucking day, I'm sure you're just like, you know what, man, fuck it, man, go get me a $1,500 watch, man. You know.
Don't let him hear you making fun of his accent, dude. He'll get all pissed off. Man, he'll come after Chris, dude. He'll come after Chris for that.
He'll break my AC on purpose, dude. He'll break the motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
No AC for you, man. So Christopher J, dude, this is your first time watching The Omen. You're kind of quiet tonight. Who's getting over?
Nobody's getting. I'm letting you guys do your thing, but it's my first time watching it. Yes, and wow, a lot of things to say.
I can't wait to hear Karen because
that was a shock.
I knew this would be a perfect movie for Chris, like, because he's never.
Why, dude?
Yeah, well, it's like because people at home.
We'll tell the story.
Yeah, you know, Chris, he doesn't watch horror movies, so of course I'm like trying to give him, you know, the fundamentals, the best of the best. Like, these are the movies that everyone that you know you should know. You know, when you're watching any kind of films around history, you know, you have to watch Rocky. You know, you got to watch Stone Cold. I mean, there's a few films that you have to watch in order to be, you know, to know your shit. And this is one of the films I think that you need to know to be able to kind of talk about horror movies. And it's perfect because Chris, you know, he's a religious person. He goes to church every Sunday, even though he wants to kill someone every other week. That's not the point. The point is that he goes to church. So I'm like, oh, he's going to get this over. And I can't wait to see The Exorcist with Christopher J because I know also, you know, that he's going to have a lot to say. But did this film scare you at all, Chris?
Not scare me so much as just it was more evil than scare. Like not the film itself, but the elements of it were more evil than like frightening. Like I got scared. Like you get that locked into in our previous horror podcast. I got locked into that because he's going up the stairs and you know it's kind of alone and you don't know what he's walking into and stuff. Here, it's not a bunch of dark imagery in a large mansion and stuff like that.
You sound great, Jerry. Now you're getting over.
Here, here it's more of a there are these demonic elements at work and people are trying to oppose them or maybe not even aware of them.
It's like ex-bandmates trying to get after you, right? It's kind of the same thing, dude. So
exactly.
When I first saw this film, I was really young. It must have been like early 90s. And it was just one of those films that, you know, it's like the fucking, now you see it everywhere. But like for me back then, it was like, what? A movie about the devil? You know, I couldn't believe it. So I'm like, I have to watch it. And then when I put it on, it has a bunch of crazy imagery, you know, which we'll talk about. And there's no real, like, horror movie icon in the film, like a Freddy Krueger or a Jason. But the whole film, it's supposed to have that kind of in the like background or in the shadows kind of, you know, deal. Like evil is like lurking around everyone. So it kind of did that really well for me as a kid and freaked me the fuck out when we get to the graveyard scene. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. So the film starts off. Well, before we're going to the film, did y'all know this fucking director is one of the most over-ass motherfuckers in the world? I was looking at his work, and as a director, he did some stuff as, I think, like a producer. But check this out. He directed Superman 1, Superman 2, The Goonies, Scrooged, Lethal Weapon 1, 2, and 3. I think he may have done 4. I don't remember. He did the Omen 3. He did the toy with, what's his name, Richard Pryor.
Oh, man.
Yeah, The Lost Boys, Assassins, the VHS you had shown me the other day. And then Maverick. I've never seen Maverick, but I recognize the actors. And then his shittiest film was the like the first X-Men, like in the early 2000s. That was like his worst one. But I'm like, man, this motherfucker over, man. You know what the?
And there's more. I mean, you think about it. So, you know, Free Willy, which was so huge back in like the mid '90s because of the kid, you know, with his arm up and the whales going over him. He directed that. He also directed a few of your show, Tales from the Crypt.
I think he was a producer on that. I don't know if he directed, but yeah, I saw he was on like there's tons of fucking movies, dude. Tons of like.
Hold on, dude. So he did the story, but what did you say? There was 2 or 3 before that, before the story. I mean the toy.
He did Lethal Weapon 1 through 3.
Before that.
Scrooge.
No, before that.
Bill Murray.
There you go.
Yeah, Scrooge.
I was gonna say, dude. So that motherfucker did Scrooged and the toy, dude.
Yeah. Over ass.
Man, dude. I didn't know that motherfucker was this over, dude.
Yeah, I freaked out. I'm like, because, honestly, we're going to get to it towards the end, but it's like, this could be a real boring ass movie if it didn't have such, like, shocking sequences and really good actors, because there's not much that really goes on. It's a lot of talking. And, for a horror movie, you want a lot of shit going on to keep you engaged. But here, it just tells the story, and all the people that are like in the forefront of the film, they give their lines like really awesome. Like I was like just laughing all day at the priest on how he delivers his shit, and then like over the top, and it's great. So he was able to get that out of these people, and I like how whenever something happens, like it zooms into their eyes, and you hear like like it has that fucking music, dude, to try and get over whatever's going on. But the main actor, Gregory Peck, he comes out on Cape Fear, fucking Christopher J's favorite, the original.
Oh yeah,
the original.
He's the attorney, right? He's the attorney. No, in the remake, he's the attorney, but in the original one, he's the fucking he's the attorney, right?
He's in both.
No, in the 1993 one. The attorney...
The original one.
The original one. But in the 93 one, the attorney is Nick Nolte.
No. But he's the one that what's-his-name hires, dude. The Max Cady hires him. Remember, he calls them and says, hey, I got him I want you to help me on a case or whatever.
Hey, man, I want you to check out my AC, man. He does him like that, dude.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
No,
He's the attorney. He's the other attorney, dude. I'm the other one.
Which attorney?
Remember when after they beat him up? Remember after they beat up Max Cady, and then Nick Nolte says, "Hey, he consults with an attorney friend of his or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to represent me." And he goes, "Oh, sorry, I can't because I'm already representing Cady."
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I remember that.
Anyways. I don't want to get sidetracked, dude. Cause it's fucking Gregory. I think the reason why everybody was on their fucking P's and Q's on this one, dude, why they didn't need a lot of gimmicks, was because Gregory Peck was there just making that face the whole time.
Right.
You motherfuckers better hit this fucking line and hit your fucking X or whatever it is where they stand on or whatever. Yeah, you understand? Like, he was just watching everybody with his arms crossed the whole time, dude.
Yeah. He gets over it.
That whole Christopher J. I'm a prick routine,
Tell everyone what to do. But yeah, Richard Donner, the director. We have Gregory Peck there, and that's really well. Also, they have David Warner, who plays Keith Jennings, who's the guy taking the pictures during the whole movie.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker.
I've seen that motherfucker. I've seen him somewhere. Where the fuck have I seen him before, dude?
I was gonna write down, like for the notes on all the shit that he's been on, but that dude has been on so many fucking movies. You thought that the films, like that director did, was a lot. This guy's been in like tons of fucking bullshit that I've seen, and he was in Ninja Turtles 2, which is like I remember as a kid, like y'all are like, yeah, it's right. Yeah, he was in that shit. He came out on Planet of the Apes as as an older guy. I forgot which the new Planet of the Apes. He was in a ton of Star Trek films, dude. A ton of Star Trek films. He was on TV playing Ra's al Ghul in Superman, the Superman gimmick there. Scream 2. I mean, the guy, he's been in tons of shit, dude. I mean, he's been in literally, like 100 movies probably, and even in like small.
Titanic.
Yeah, see, I completely forgot about that, and that's like he has a pretty big role in that. Titanic.
Titanic.
Yeah, he's in the Lost World. I mean, there's too many fucking movies to.
Dude, when I saw him, I was like, why am I thinking about werewolves, dude? Watching that motherfucker.
Its number is 666.
I left alone. My mind was blank. I needed time to think.
It's exactly what I thought. I'm like, he had to have come out in like a werewolf movie or something, but I was looking for him and I don't remember. I couldn't find anything, but that's exactly what I thought too. I'm like, did he come out in a werewolf film? And because I know he's been in other horror movies, but I couldn't find anything that I knew of that he came out in. And I was thinking, maybe like a small role in American Werewolf in London or something, but nope, I couldn't find anything. But this motherfucker was going to play. He was the original person they had in mind to play Freddy Krueger in A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and
do you realize what I just found? Sorry to cut you off. Go.
No, you're good. Go. What's up?
Whose profile are you monitoring, Chris?
No, he was in. Okay, so the movie last week that we were watching was the fucking, gosh, help me out here. I'm getting senile here. What was the name of it?
The Changeling.
The Changeling. Okay. All right. Now, this here is Gregory Peck. Now, Gregory Peck played Bob Cratchit in the 1984 Christmas Carol that George Scott was in.
Oh, so they were all kind of connected that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's yeah, David Warner, dude. He was supposed to play the original Freddy because he was supposed to be like, kind of look like an old man. And I've seen, if you look on the internet, just put David Warner, Freddy Krueger, and you'll see his pictures on there. And he looks like a pretty good ass Freddy if they would have gone with him. I don't know how he would have brought it with the voice.
British accent Freddy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so that motherfucker would have got it over. But let's get into the film now that we've gone over all the fucking gimmicks here. It starts off with Robert Thorn, our main character, driving. He's in Rome driving to his wife's delivery at the hospital. And you hear someone narrating the child is, or like talking over that the child is dead. The child, what the fuck does he say? The child will live no more, whatever the fuck. And it's funny, I had never heard that, because I guess I always skipped over like most of the fucking intro part, but I didn't know. I had no idea that Thorn willingly adopted a kid. I thought it was just like he found out like way later on. But yeah, that's what I had. I had thought, but it goes, he had breathed for a moment, then he breathed no more, and we see a priest talking to Thorn about it, telling him that it would be a blessing for her, Robert's wife, to have this child they can adopt. And that's when he gets introduced to Damien, and he brings them to the wife because they're told that their son just died. There's no explanation other than he just died. And right away the film fucking kicks off from that point. It's like, we see Damien normal for about 5 minutes when they're like walking by a creek or something and they think he fell into the water or whatever. And that's like the only fucking normality we get with him. And then the next scene is when he has his 5th birthday party, and the fucking nanny hangs herself. Fucking in like fucking 5 minutes, like 10 minutes, the film's already over, dude. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Holly the nanny, Chris. Talk about Holly the nanny.
Oh my gosh, I mean.
Hold on, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, I mean, the nicest girl and all this stuff. She's taking care of the kid, and then she sees that dog.
Yes.
And the gleam in the eye, and then all of a sudden there she is on like 2nd or 3rd floor of that mansion, And she says right before, and this is why I'm glad I watched it not once. I watched the first 30 minutes not once, not twice, but 3 times because, and Joe, you know this, I'm the kind of person that I will miss things the first time, so I want to catch things. And I missed the first 2 times that she said, look, Damien, or something like that.
Yeah, this is for you. It's all for you. And then, plow, through the fucking window. Got over. What are you going to say, Mark?
Oh, dude, that's exactly why people shouldn't have dogs, dude, because they just fucking turn people evil, dude. That's the first thing. You know anybody with dogs?
I know a guy, dude.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, I think that fucking, wasn't that fucking birthday party over like a motherfucker, dude? God damn, dude. Fucking, they had a full spread, fucking rides and fucking games and all that. Of course, you know, Chris would be fucking 8-year-old Chris would be. I'm not getting on that merry-go-round there. There's a lot of sandwich meat here to be taken care of. But
they have everything, dude. You're not lying.
I know, dude. But they had a fucked up clown too. But
yes.
Mm-hmm.
But after that scene was over, I was like, you know what? That's what's missing from fucking kids' parties, dude. It's a good hanging, dude. I haven't seen a good hanging at a party in a while, dude.
Yeah. You got to get it over somehow.
A good suicide, dude. No.
Yeah, they got it all.
Dude,
like I said.
Wasn't that reaction for everybody? I didn't understand that, dude. I didn't understand that part out. Everybody at first freaks out for like 2 seconds, and then it's just like nobody says nothing. Like, dude, you saw a motherfucker hanging, dude. I think people would be screaming and running the whole time, dude. But I mean, that's just me. I know somebody that would be shaking, but I mean, that's just me, dude. You know?
Well, you can't run from all that free food, dude. That's the thing. Is they're like,
yeah.
They're like, nope.
It's on the house. It's on the house, right?
Yeah.
I forgot, dude. It's on the house, dude. It's there, dude.
Yeah, dude, that fucking clown, dude. Like it's like a little bit after the hanging, they start, showing everyone's kind of reaction, and I'm like, man, that motherfucking clown's scarier than anything that's come out so far, dude. I don't know why that motherfucker's that. If he would have hung himself, now that would have got over, dude. If that clown would have just went crazy, think about that shit. That clown was already fucking freaky as fuck, dude. And of course, we have Keith Jennings, the photographer, David Warner. He has to take pictures of everyone fucking dying, dude. He's getting over like a son of a bitch. And then Damien sees the dog too, and he waves at it, dude. And the dog, gives him that carom wink, dude. So these motherfuckers are in cahoots. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then a little bit after that, we meet the priest, dude. The priest, Father Brennan. And that motherfucker, he's what keeps the whole film interesting for me, dude. Every time he comes out, I'm like, it's like every time, Flair's going to cut a promo, well, it's going to get over. It's just going to be something over the top and shit. He's like, you must accept Christ, Mr. Thorn, as your savior. And, he tells him, like, he's the son of the devil. He's killed once and he'll kill again. Like, the whole time he's just, like, throwing out lines, like, all quotable as fuck. And only through Christ can you fight him. And and then this guy's like, what the fuck is this guy, talking about? If someone just came up to you like that, Chris, I mean, what would your reaction be?
Bro, if some lunatic priest walks up to me, bro, and just starts telling me I need to... No, I'm kidding. I mean, yeah, that caught me because, like, he walks in there and he's asked for a meeting. And, I mean, he had to press to get that little meeting when he's in his, secretary or ambassador office. Yes. He gets in and he just starts right off the bat, just goes in. I mean, it's like a missionary who's received no training. It's like, are you kidding? You just right off the bat just jump right into it. You need to accept Christ, you need to drink his blood and eat his body and all this stuff. I'm like, man, it sounds like a Catholic apologetics extremist meeting or something. It's like, why do you just jump right into that? And I'm thinking that, but at the same time, eventually he breaks down into going into it. It's like he's just so moved to compelled to tell him what to do, but won't go into the why until Edward or Gregory Peck starts pushing back, until Robert Thorn starts pushing back, asking why.
Yeah, we find out later on that he's so crazy because he's got cancer and he's all high on morphine apparently, so he's not thinking clearly. Yes. He's just kind of going crazy, and Mr. Thorne's at work, and he is the British, what is he? The British ambassador? Ambassador to Britain or whatever. And so he's at work, and then, yeah, that guy goes in there, and he starts, spewing all that stuff, that he was at the hospital the night his son was born, and I want to save you so Christ can forgive me, and telling him all these things, and he's just like, what the fuck? And then towards the end, dude, we get WCW, nitroed and shit, because he's like, his mother was and then the fucking security guard jumps in, dude.
We gotta go.
We gotta go, folks. I was like, shit, we gotta go. I was like, just say it, just fucking come out and say it. Just play those fucking mind games, dude. I was like, what the fuck, trying to. And then I remember hearing that as a kid too. I remember that part, like, because you're kind of interested to see what the fuck's going on. But what do you think about that priest, Mark? Did he get over or what, dude?
I think he was a little over the top, dude. He was a little over the top for me, dude. I wasn't too impressed. I wasn't too impressed with his role, dude. At least in the office, dude. At least in the office, dude.
Yeah.
The other part got him over, dude.
Yeah.
His last scene got him over. That's for shit.
And then the priest is, taking off the property, and then Keith Jennings is everywhere, the photographer. I'm just going to say the photographer because Keith Jennings doesn't... you can tell it's a gimmick name, dude. So he's
just fucking monitoring everybody, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like, everywhere Thorn is at, that motherfucker's there, dude. I'm like, he's at the party. He's over here, he's following everyone that's going to get killed. They're fucking... He's taking pictures of... And he takes a picture of the priest walking out, and he notices there's an irregularity in the picture, the little gimmick, like black line, and because right away he's developing the pictures, and then we're introduced to the nanny, Mrs. Baylock, dude, and she just comes over right away, and like right away is like you already know something's wrong with this motherfucker. She goes to the Thorn's house, and she's like, okay, well let me, I've come here for the replacement job, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll show you. They're like right away, oh yeah, no problem. And she's like, that's okay, I'll be alone with Damien. Y'all don't need to come with me. And I'm like, who the fuck would be okay with someone they've never met just gonna go meet their 5-year-old kid by themselves? Unreal, dude. And they finally snap. They're like, oh well, did you tell her to come by? And they're like, no, did you? No. And then
right.
She gives them some bullshit. The agency ran an ad in the paper about what happened to your other nanny and this and that. And as soon as she goes into the room, she tells Damien, like, have no fear, little one, I'm here to protect you. And, does that Christopher J smirk, or Damien does. He's like,
she's the guardian, she's the satanic guardian angel for Damien.
Yeah, exactly. So what did y'all think about the nanny? I thought she was pretty hot for an older lady, dude, but y'all know me.
Chris probably thinks he's the hottest nanny he's ever seen, dude.
Ah, Mrs. Baylock, you got the job. Squirt.
You get that bucket. Bring that bucket, Mrs. Baylock. Bring that over here.
She's not bad, but I'll tell you, I still pick Fran Drescher. But anyway, Mark used to date one to laugh like that. But Anyway, no.
I'm sure he loved it too. Every time she fucking had it. Oh my god! Every time she laughed, right? Oh my god.
I guess that one got over. But anyway, I'll tell you about this. So I mean, you just right away you're like, this is an evil bitch right here. And the way she's telling the kid openly she's gonna protect him, like you already have a sense that the kid. Yeah, you already have a sense the kid's evil. And so like, and then you're making the connection again. This is why I watched it the first half hour 3 times, and you catch those connections. Like if the guy's already driving the hospital June the 6th at 6 a.m. So 6 for the month, 6 for the day of the month, 6 a.m. for the time.
6
so
hours.
6
hours, Mr. Thorn.
And I mean they're right there. So that's the thing, and you make that connection, then you kind of see the priest approaches him, then the new nanny's there, and she's going to protect her. Like, this kid is fucking evil.
Oh yeah, dude. She gets straight to business right away, dude. She gets straight to business right away.
Did you have a nanny, Chris?
No.
Well, then how did you become so evil? That's what I want to know. How the fuck did you become so evil?
We had a woman, actually, her name was Donna. And she would like babysit us, like Yeah.
Donna was her name, dude. Got
Yes.
it. Go ahead.
Because I love that girl. No. I at that age I really didn't love her because like I would start crying and throw tantrums and stuff because my parents were leaving. But like, you know, I was only 3, 4,
So
5 years.
changed? So what's changed is what I want to know.
Yeah.
And well, the only time I didn't cry was when it was her daughter that would babysit us because that daughter looked fucking good.
Oh, I thought it was when she brought you moon pies and shit. All right, Chris, I got 6 moon pies. You can eat one every hour.
No, but yeah, no, I didn't have a nanny. But yeah, you could just when you put all those pieces together as you're watching it closely, it's like, man, this kid is fucking evil.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that bad. I think he's a little misunderstood, to be honest. But you know, we'll get into that later.
He gets the pass. Got it, dude. Totally got it. And so right away, you know, we start seeing how crazy and evil Damien. Well, like not really evil, but the problems he has and you know the evil that's around him. They start taking him to church, you know, and he's wearing the over-ass top, hat, dude. And yeah, the over-ass motherfucking top hat.
Just what I saw in my old dreams were the reflections of my Walkman staring back at me. 'Cause in my dreams, it's always there.
All of a sudden, he's getting like you could tell he's not like feeling good as they're getting closer to the church, dude. And you know, I think that's what Chris's kids are gonna do when Chris tries to force them to go to church, dude. They start going, you know, insane, and they just leave right away. And the next day, they have that Rottweiler, dude, and like that nanny's just like right away, like, oh, you know, I brought in the dog and he's this and that or whatever. I'm like, man, this bitch is just bringing on dogs and you know getting everyone over, dude. So if you had a nanny, Chris, would you just let her bring in dogs and all that shit, dude, or you go fuck no?
Not if it was the fucking like the. I don't think it was the first dog we had. I think it was the second dog we had when I was a little kid when we still lived at the house off of 410 Starcrest. And I remember we had this dog. It was our second ever dog. It was some kind of short-haired something. It was really fucking hyper. His name was Coco. And my mom would put me in the backyard with I'm 3 years old. Right at 3 years old, I just turned 3. And we have this fucking dog, and my mom puts me in the backyard with him, and he's jumping on me and licking me, and sometimes kind of like gnawing on me, not biting but gnawing. And I'm scared to death. And I'm like, bah! Bah! Bah!
Nothing's changed, like Mark said. The
Nothing.
overreaction.
Actually, and you know what? He has changed because he's getting worse.
Yeah.
He's getting worse, dude.
He's doing that Ricky Morton cell crawling to everyone. Yeah.
But if we had that dog now, I would think that dog was the most adorable dog. But back then, I'm only 3 feet tall, if that. I can't stand it jumping on me like that, you know.
3 feet, about 180, right?
Yeah. On a good day.
Yeah. And then after that, Damien's at the zoo with his mom, dude, and everything's fucking freaking the fuck out. His mom kind of notices. She's like, man, every time this motherfucker gets close to women, they get married to some dude. Oh, that's somebody else. I mean, every time she gets gets close to like the monkeys, they freak out and all this and that, man. And then Mr. Thorn is on his way out. And then he sees Father Brennan again, dude. And that evening, Kathy starts venting to Robert, you know, in bed that she wants to see a psychiatrist. I guess because she's like getting that sense that something's wrong with Damien and she doesn't like him, I guess. And I guess she feels bad about it. So I'm assuming that's what it is, but they're not really. She doesn't really say why she wants to see a psychiatrist, other than we have to put it together that she's thinking all these things about Damien. She's like putting the pieces together, you know, and Robert doesn't give a fuck, you know. But
right, like you said, while simultaneously feeling guilty about it because she feels like, why should I have these feelings about my own son? Because she still didn't know he was adopted.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so she's got this massive internal conflict that she has to work out, and the psychiatrist is the only answer for her.
Yeah. Why haven't you seen a psychiatrist, dude?
I have seen one.
What they say to get us over?
No, it had to do with my ADHD and the different prescriptions they were giving me for that. That's what it didn't have to do with.
Built-in excuse. Well, got it, dude. Go ahead.
Like he was prescribing me different like medications, like you try Wellbutrin and Strattera. It was for that. It wasn't for any fucking crazy ass shit or anything.
Oh, they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't know yet. Huh? They didn't know yet. That's what it was.
How can you not know? How can you not know the moment you lay eyes on him, dude? How do you not know?
So after a soccer game, dude, they're all there. I want you to have a drink with us, Mr. Thorn. And then Father Brennan comes in, tells them about the leprechauns that are attacking them. But Father Brennan comes and tells Thorn that he needs 5 minutes and he'll never see him again. That his wife says, "Your wife's in danger, Mr. Thorn." And of course, Keith is there taking more pictures, dude. He's getting over like a sumbitch with that fucking camera. And then he goes and develops it, and he sees that like there's that gimmick in the picture on like across the body of Father Brennan. And then the most over part of the film, like if you've never seen The Omen, chances are you've at least maybe seen the scene where Mr. Thorn is like in a park or something, and the priest tells him the whole line, dude. He goes, "When the Jews return to Zion," and that comet.
I got this.
Go ahead, dude, get us over, son.
Yeah, let me get over to my self-texting, and I will tell you what the fuck that is, man. Here's the poem right here. Okay.
Oh, God.
All right. When the Jews return to Zion and a comet rips the sky, the Holy Roman Empire rises, and you and I must die. Of the eternal sea he rises, creating armies on either shore, turning man against his brother, till man exists no more.
You see me at
And Hulk Hogan, you can't do that.
So he starts telling him, Mr. Thorn, that bullshit, dude. And then he starts telling him you have to go to Megiddo or some bullshit,
Megiddo
in Jezreel. And you've got to meet a man called Buckinhagen. He's just telling him all this stuff, and he's just there like, what are you talking about, And he tells him, that he'll tell you how to how to kill the child, and that his wife's pregnant, but Damien's not going to allow the child to be born. He doesn't say Damien, but he's just the child. He won't allow the other child to be born. Yeah, and then he's the son of the devil. He must kill your son. He's just like spitting out lines. It's kind of like, and you could tell fucking at first like he doesn't know what's going on, but he starts understanding a little bit more that a child would be born and into wealth and power and all this and that, and it's like. And Mr. Thorne's just kind of freaking out. He's like, "Well, you got your 5 minutes. You asked for 5 minutes, and you got 5 minutes." And
he will not be saved by the lamb. He will be torn by the beast.
Yeah. What did you think about that whole scene, dude? With all that shit, he's just giving him the fucking everything he had to tell him about Damien being evil as fuck, dude.
Oh fuck! And I mean, then on top of that, he does it. I love how we were talking about this earlier. I love how Mr. Thorn, Ambassador Thorn, walks right up, like, after he gets told his part and how his, the baby's going to get aborted and all this stuff, and I've seen him kill once before, and all these things.
Yeah.
And he tells him all that and reads him the Lanny Poffo poetry about Zion and all that. Well, then, okay, well, anyway. So then he does the Chris Karam. He does now look here.
Yeah.
I gave you 5 minutes. Now I don't want to see you ever again. It's like pointing at him.
Yeah. And he goes, "You'll see me in hell, Mr. Thorn." I was like, "Oh, dude, he had to get that one line in, dude." I thought that was. And then
he couldn't help himself, right? He couldn't fucking help himself.
What'd you think about the priest in this scene, dude?
He's not over yet, dude. Like I said, it's a little over the top for me, dude. It's a little over the top for me.
And then there's the craziest storm I've ever seen, dude. Like from everything being normal to like seconds after, like this fucking crazy storm as the priest is trying to get back to the to his home, the church.
Right.
And then, he finally gets. I think he has to jump the fence and all kinds of crazy shit to get to his church. And it's kind of scary. You would, if you were in that situation, you'd be kind of freaking the fuck out too, of course. And then there's some kind of spear from the top of the church, and it falls on him, dude, and it fucking impales him from like the shoulder or neck all the way through his body. And I think, well, not at that exact moment, but of course the photographer is able to get a pic, dude. That motherfucker, he's the greatest monitor in the history of the business.
No, he's a second.
Okay. Second one, dude.
No, you got to give him mad props for the fact that he didn't have the technology back then.
Yeah, Yeah.
Chris, how would you monitor? How would you be able to monitor people back then, Chris? That's what I want to know.
I would have to physically follow them around.
Man, because you realize you'd probably be like 140 pounds. Everybody, you'd be running around after everybody, Chris. If the internet wasn't around. No. Yes.
Go on.
Go on.
Oh, by the way, I got a comment about this. I mean, you notice how the priest likes to point out that the kid is a murderer. He's seen him murder a couple times before and stuff like that. It's just interesting because he points out that the kid is going to marry their second quote finger in the air quotation marks child in the womb. And I'm just like, man, if that was like Planned Parenthood today, if it was made today, you'd have the Planned Parenthood propaganda of like, well, killing children in the womb is only one thing he does. He also does mammograms.
What the fuck? And this fucking dog going crazy. And right after that, after all that bullshit happens, Kathy tells Robert she's pregnant, and she's like and she's like super irritated with Damien. This whole like now we can see, like I see it to put the stuff together, and she's there putting up plants on the second floor of their home, and she gets on a chair, and Damien's just riding around in a circle on his tricycle, and business is about to pick up, and the fucking babysitter like opens the door, and he runs out, rides out into the fucking hallway, and then knocks her over, dude, and she falls down, and I don't know if they announce it, but I mean, I think she loses the baby, and yeah, they do say that she loses the baby. So she's in the hospital, and Robert goes and sees her, and she's like, "Please don't let him kill me." And I was like, the old Christopher J. Wife, dude. That's what she's gonna tell us, dude. We go say, "Oh, you're right. Don't let him kill me." She tried to leave, right? She tried to leave, and Chris threw her off the second floor. You ain't going nowhere. So
teach her a lesson.
So
how about that? I'll go to him, sir.
No, you're good, man. Go ahead. I was gonna go to the next scene, but you got something.
But how about that fucking fall that she took off those railings for the balcony upper floor? And it's like, I mean, it's believable because I mean, the kid knocks her off with the tricycle, and then she's holding on by the rails and that kind of thing, and then he's pulling her fingers because he's evil and trying to kill the mom. But the worst thing about that scene, the one thing that fucks it up, is the way she makes that 180-degree turn like 2 feet before she hits the floor. Did you see that shit?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's the right way to take a bump. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You should pay attention. Take some notes, Chris. So you're taking your routine bumps.
That Thanksgiving bump, dude. You gotta get it over next time.
Yeah.
So after Robert goes and sees her at the hospital, he goes to go check on Damien, and that fucking dog's still there after he told bitch face to get rid of that shit. And the phone starts ringing like a motherfucker, and it's the photographer Keith, and he asked him over, to take a look at these pictures he's been taking the whole time, this whole monitoring gimmick. And he's showing like the pictures and explaining like, hey, all these pictures of your fucking nanny, the priest, they've all died, and they all have this gimmick in it. And they go over to the priest room that's covered with a bunch of Bible pages all over it and 47 crosses, dude. They're going through the priest's diary, and it has like a little newspaper clipping of the Star of Bethlehem in the sky the night Damien was born on June 6th. And, the guy's asking him, like, was he born at 6 a.m.? And that's when Thorn finally reveals to him, because I don't think anyone knows. He goes, my son is dead. I don't know whose son this is. And, that's when they decide that they have to go ahead and investigate what's going on, and Thorne's like, no, this is my problem, and then Keith tells him, no, it's my problem too, and he shows a picture of him with that same, like, black spear kind of thing, and the picture is by his neck. So it's at that point that motherfucker finally decides to start checking on shit after the priest. You see, like, he should have started asking the fucking priest all these questions, right away, instead of waiting till that priest to die before, taking any of this shit seriously. So right after that, they go and investigate the hospital in Rome where Damien was born, and they find out that it burned down 5 years ago. Of course, also when Damien was born right after. And the guy's asking,
how convenient.
Yeah, exactly. They start asking around, like, and like, I'm looking for like information on adoption, and the nurse is like, or the sister's like, we didn't give adoptions here. And he's like, well, what about the paperwork? That fucking Mr. Thorn gimmick. And they find out that the basement was completely burned and all the papers are gone. And this is where, to me, where the film really starts getting good. Start figuring out what's going on instead of just shit happening. They're investigating it, and they ask about this priest who was there, and he was the priest that told Robert about adopting a child, and they're like, oh yeah, he was in the fire, but he's still alive. Father Sapillo, I don't know how to say his name, but they tell him, oh yeah, he's still alive in some kind of church gimmick, but his right eye's all fucking jacked up, dude.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's all screwed up. You want to talk about that scene for us, Chris? Walk us through that shit when he goes and sees the father.
It felt very like what it felt when I went to Rome, and when you get outside kind of the city, and it's a lot of it's like that, the imagery, the scenery, and then they get to that monastery. And they're in that monastery and they're praying. I don't know if they're doing some kind of chaplet or his holy name. Forgot what those things are called that they do periodically throughout the day if you're in a contemplative order. But anyway, neither here nor there. So they go there and they're walking in the chapel of the monastery where all these monks, all these brothers, are the litany. That's what's called, the litany. They're probably praying the litany of the holy name, or maybe the Angelus. And then they just walk through them, right by them as they're doing this, and these guys, they maintain their prayer, and they see him. Now, they don't focus on his eye right away. So when I see him, he's just held up on something, and I'm thinking to myself, is the movie trying to say that he's an incorruptible saint? But then they say that he's still alive, and they feed him, and they show his eye, and it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. That he abandoned. I guess, see, it's not really explained, or at least I didn't understand it. It's not really explained why these priests decided to basically set up the devil's child for success, by giving him to Robert Thorn. But they explained like that they abandoned Christ. So I don't really. Do y'all have any idea why these motherfuckers purposely gave Robert Thorn the devil's child?
Probably gonna make a good storyline.
Well, they did it, but they don't really say why. They're just like, fuck it, we'll just do it live.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, like they don't really explain why they do it, right, Chris? They just do it.
No, it starts, and that's the thing. It just begins with just this priest you kind of, when you look back on it, hindsight's 20/20. You say to yourself, well, the priest was the one suggesting he just take this orphan child home, which is nothing wrong with taking home an orphan child.
Yeah.
But then he wants him to go down and not tell the wife, and she won't know the difference.
Yeah. I don't get that whole thing, but like again, I guess it might have just been an honest mistake or whatever. But then also,
No.
I forgot to mention is like they were talking about Father Brennan, and they were saying because they did like an autopsy on him, and that he had 3 6s on his inner thigh too. And I'm like, well, is that motherfucker the son of the devil too, or what? How many son of the devils are there? Because he had the 3 6s on him, but he was a priest though. So did he know that he was like damned or whatever the fuck, and he was just trying to do good? I don't know. This film has a lot of just fucking shit thrown in, I guess, to just a bunch of gimmicks, dude. They didn't really think it through.
Well, it's like many things. Oh, good.
I think this movie is a warning, dude, to people. You can't trust people from the church, dude. That's the bottom line. You can't trust anybody involved in the church, dude. They put on that phony routine that they're fucking good. They know what's best and all this other horse shit, but then they want you dead. They want you to die slow and painful deaths right away, dude. Am I right or wrong?
Jerry?
Thank you. So what I would say is this, it's like many other things. The movie, leaves room for mysterious interpretation. So like many things in life, like many things in theology, like many matters of faith, like many contemplations and philosophies of the universe, a mystery is not something that we know nothing at all about. It's something that we don't know everything about. Well, same thing here. We don't know everything about this, and we're asking these questions here, and we may never be able to make logical sense of them.
Yeah, no, I like that. You're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know the whole story, right? Yeah, I mean, I like that because it's like if you know exactly why everything is and was, it's like it takes away that aura about it that keeps it scary and suspenseful and just badass. Because like like with the WWE, dude, like when Kane, like you didn't know shit about Kane other than he was the Undertaker's brother and he burned down in a fire, like that was badass. And then they're like, well, we got to continue the story, and then they got kind of stupid after that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Undertaker, your mother, hello. They just started attacking shit on that didn't make any sense to try and continue the story, dude. But I liked it better when it was just real simple, So.
I'm sure I know who was part of that, but anyways.
No, that's completely false. They started revealing the Kane character not even in the first year of what's his name, Blancha, and what's his name, Gewurz. That was like even after that.
I wasn't talking about that,
No,
but anyway.
Russo kept him in the straight-up Kane mask, not talking. He kept him like that. And so did Gewurz the first couple years.
Okay. Well, I wasn't talking about that, but okay, never mind. You're so great.
No, you were talking about that, and now you're doing the backpedaling. I wouldn't talk.
I'm not doing that. I was gonna say that it was Bruce Pritchard, but of course you gotta go ahead and like everything else in life. Wasn't he part of the company, Chris?
He was, but how do you know he's the guy that said they should take off the mask and make him talk?
Because he likes silly shit like that, Chris. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why. Why is it that Chris has to win? He has to win, dude. Even when he's wrong, he has to win, dude. He has to win.
That's why he's gonna have a very happy marriage, dude. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's not a cancel. It's a rescheduling. He has to win, dude. He has to win.
It's not the paycheck week, and you still haven't given me your $300.
Yeah.
Damn right.
We'll talk about the 300 gimmick on our, and we're not talking about the movie 300, but we'll talk about that on our Master of the Universe podcast where we just completely annihilate everyone. But so they talk to the priest. He lets them know to go to this like a little graveyard. The other priest tells him, "Oh, it's a graveyard." Blah blah blah. And these motherfuckers end up going by themselves, and it's like it looks real ominous. It looks fucking badass. It's dark. It's just a little windy, not too windy, and it's like, of course, like what kind of graveyards are you expecting in fucking Rome, right? They're all fucking rocks everywhere, right? And they just are looking around and they see a grave that has June 6th as the day of death, and this is what got me into the film a lot as a kid, because I was watching it. I really didn't understand what the fuck was going on, but I understood what was going on once they got to the grave, and it has a woman's name, and they're like, okay, this person died the day your son died, and it's two graves right next to each other, and this is the mother, this is the son, and they slowly open up the grave for the fucking mother, and it's a fucking jackal, dude. And the significance of that, Chris, is what?
That's the hand they open beer with. No, the significance of that is it's an animal, therefore, i.e. the beast, a.k.a. on the sixth day, God made the beasts of the field and birds of the air. And so that's where the number 6 kind of gets its demonicness from. But we humans are unique in that we have conscious thought, we have emotion, we have, the freedom to choose and reject God and reject good and evil. So now, but then that's the significance there, and it is the hand they open beer with.
And then, Keith wants to get the fuck out of there as soon as he sees that jackal, which I would too. And that really disturbed me as a kid. I saw that, and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like, I didn't understand. I was like, did the animal give birth, to a kid? Or...
How do you know it's a jackal? I
think they say it.
Yeah, so they knew that, it's a jackal. Yeah. Got it, dude.
Yeah.
They're experts on bone animals. Okay. The animals
is that what
the bones
it is?
of animals.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what
they're just fucking experts, dude.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's a jackal, dude. There's no fucking confusing it, dude.
It couldn't have been a fucking mountain lion, a fucking saber-tooth tiger, fucking possum. Oh, it's a jackal.
Yeah, no problem here. Close the motherfucker up, and they go to the next grave, and because it's like, I like the shit Thorn says. He's like, "Is my son buried here? Why here in this awful place?" He really builds it up, dude. Like, yeah, dude, why is that motherfucker there? And they open it up, dude, and they see like it looks bigger than an infant's body, but all right, well then we'll get.
Oh yeah, like a fucking 5-year-old, dude.
Yeah, it's like they killed him as soon as he was born. It has like a shattered skull. And I'm like, that ain't no fucking infant, man. That motherfucker's skull is as big as Chris's, dude. What the fuck are y'all talking about? It's fucking huge, dude. And that's when all the dogs attack, dude. All the pack of Rottweilers, dude. And I guess Rottweilers are the dog of the devil fucking dog of choice, I guess. And yeah, they just attack them. They fucking make it out of there. And then the film kind of goes into its ending era here, and I'll kind of like mix it all together, and y'all guys can talk about it how y'all want. But right after that, they finally go and see fucking Buchenhagen, and the guy that the other priest told him to go see, and he tells them about how to kill this, Damien. It has to be on hallowed ground, in a church, and the daggers. I think he said they have to form a cross when he stabs him. And as that's happening, fucking he calls his wife to get out of there, because I guess he finally snaps that, hey, you're not safe there. And then she's packing up her shit. Miss Baylock, the fucking nanny, throws her out the fucking window, and she takes the biggest bump in the history of the movie, dude. Like through like not just on an ambulance, but completely through that motherfucker, dude. I love how she falls like through like I don't know how many stories down through the ambulance roof, and then she lands on what are those bullshits called?
The gurney?
A gurney, and the gurney doesn't break, dude. It's completely fine. It just lands on, no problem here, dude. I thought that was fucking hilarious, dude. But so that shit happens, and once he gets the daggers, he starts second guessing. He's like, he wants me to kill this, this child, and it's not his fault that he doesn't know, and this and that. And then he throws the daggers, and that's when the other dude, the photographer's like, oh well, if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And that's when that's when he gets fucking beheaded. He's like kneeling down, and then the forces of evil just make that truck back the fuck up, and the glass.
The movie gives it away when it focuses on that truck for no reason,
yes.
And then all of a sudden that lever, and then something's gonna happen.
Exactly, yeah. You're already expecting it because of the whole, he knows it's happening. But then, yeah, when they're just like staring at it for no reason, it was like, all right, dude. So, yeah, that bullshit happens, and then I laugh because he tosses it, and then all of a sudden it cuts to him, I guess, on a plane back to America or Britain, wherever the fuck he's at, and he has the knives. He has the knives on the plane. He's just there, chilling or whatever the fuck, and he goes back home. He's
flying first class, dude. First of all, he's flying first class, by the way.
First class with daggers, dude. Do you think you can get away with that now?
That's probably a State Department plane.
Oh, you're right, dude. You're right. See, I didn't think about that, dude. That's why you're the smartest man on the podcast. And so when he gets home, he goes into Damien's room and he sneaks in there, and because the guy tells him, Buchenhagen, that he'll have the mark on his head if you can't see it on his body. So he goes there with the scissors, cuts it, and then we see the sixes. And I laugh when they show the six. That's like that same little like sound clip they use for the whole movie. Ha 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 ha. Like for every time some shit's gonna go down. And then we get like
symphony.
That symphony shit. We get the biggest jump scare when he sees it. The nanny jumps on him, dude. She pulls a fucking. She
putting a sleeper on him, right? I think she's putting the $1 Million Dream on that motherfucker, dude.
The sleeper, dude. Yeah, she's trying to fucking attack him, dude. I think the dog's in there too, but he like locks him out, and he's over there. He can't take on this woman by himself, dude. She's getting the upper hand for the most part. And then he finally stabs her in the neck, and that fucking dog starts howling like a motherfucker. Oh, when she fucking dies. And after all that shit, Thorn grabs it. He finally does it. He throws fucking Damien in the car and drives him to church, and he's about to stab him, and then the fucking little kid, He does some good selling, or good working. He's just like, hey, no, Daddy, please, we don't hear him talk the whole movie, I think, just about, dude. And he's over there, finally talks like, no, Daddy, don't do it. And then the police come in and they're like, stop or we'll shoot. And then we hear the gunshots, dude, but we don't know what the fuck happens. And we're at a funeral, and we see Damien, and he does that turnaround, dude, and does that Christopher J smirk, dude, at his dad's funeral. So that's basically the ending. It seems like the film's going to end like in an hour and 20 minutes, but then we still got 30 more minutes to go, and it's just a bunch of craziness with Mr. Thorn by himself there. But
here's the other thing. Okay.
Go ahead, dude.
Here's the other thing, man. Is that when it ends like that, and when you look back on the whole movie on what the kid did to have people killed off, it's a lot like Village of the Damned.
A horror movie and I haven't? Is that what you're fucking? Oh.
That is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, don't ruin it. Don't spoil it for me, Chris. We gotta watch Village of the Damned soon. But that whole ending sequence is pretty crazy, man. Because it's like Thorn kind of pisses me off. Can he kind of? I mean, I could kind of understand that if you had to kill your adopted son or whatever, or a kid in general, you'd probably not be too just okay with it. But like all this shit's happening around him, his wife's dying, the fucking nanny hangs herself, the priest dies, and all these people are dying, and he's still like kind of second guessing. He's like, like if this kid's, and he sees the 666, dude, and he still hesitates at the end, dude. I think I would have played dartboards with that motherfucker after I saw the 666, dude. It would have been, hey, I would have been like, hey, dude, you don't see the 666 on this motherfucker, but if you had a son that had 666 on his head, Chris, what would you do, dude?
Get him right over to the bishop. Immediately.
You'd be like, oh my God. I know you'd freak the fuck out, Chris. You'd start sweating and try to choke him out, dude. I think Mark's asleep already again, dude. I think he's tapping out.
I'm waiting for y'all motherfuckers to stop talking.
Go ahead.
Okay. What do you ask me a fucking question?
Motherfucker, you're waiting for us to stop talking. What the fuck?
Yeah, but ask me a question. So I'm telling you.
What you think about that whole ending sequence, dude?
The I'm gonna stab you, but I can't because I got shot. Deal or what?
Yeah. Wait. Well, I got shot because I didn't stab you.
I think it's fucking bullshit, dude. For me, that's a terrible ending, dude. That's a terrible ending. I think that motherfucker should have took a bump somewhere, was about to stab him and somehow, stabbed himself, dude, or cut himself, something, dude. Fucking Damien pulls out a shank on him. There's something, dude. He's the fucking Antichrist. He can do all this stuff, but he's going to let the dad just pick him up all bloody, take him to the church, dude. Give me a break, dude. That just ruins it for me. He can cause all this other shit to happen, but nope, I can't stop Dad from carrying me to church, dude. No big deal.
Well, to put some perspective on that, though, even Jesus wasn't even Jesus wasn't doing all his hardcore miracle stuff as a 6-year-old kid. I mean, he waited till he was 30 to start really, really pumping out the supernatural powers in front of people. Now,
and how is it that he's cutting his hair and he's just asleep still? No big deal, dude. Some guys cutting my hair, not a problem.
Yep.
That was a genuine question I had in this movie. What is the the writers have protected this gimmick, so to speak, of this Ambassador Thorn. They've protected this character from having to bump for Damien. But here's the thing. When it gets to that point, I understand keeping him alive and keeping him healthy, but when it gets to the point of he's clipping his kid's hair, and this kid is the Antichrist, and yes, he's not an adult yet where he realizes all of his powers, okay, fine. But he's clipping his hair and the kid's just asleep while that's going on?
Yeah, I laughed when I saw it too.
But the question I have for this movie, dude, the most important is, why is the nanny dressed like a Ninja Turtle, dude, in his fucking What's with that green pajamas, dude? What the fuck is that about, dude?
But Andy, I don't know, dude. This fucking film. She looked like a Quaker, like some of the shit that she was fucking wearing, just like a little, just real old school, dude. Yeah, the fucking Ninja Turtle, that green pajama gimmick, dude. I don't, I don't know, dude. She was going for the Emerald City.
She's trying to bite him and all that shit. You know, she's jumping out.
Emerald City.
It's the most ridiculous. She got him in a sleeper, like, to fucking stab him. Do something. Don't just fucking try to put him in a sleeper. Just fucking do something. You're supposed to be the protector of the Antichrist, and all you can do is jump on somebody's back. Now, if she was about 300 pounds, then it'd be a different story, dude. You know,
yeah,
or let's say 283, dude. Just we don't want to embellish. Say she was 283, dude. You know, and jumping on somebody's back would cause some serious damage, dude.
Yeah, then she'd have the upper hand. But yeah, it's like, so Satan could send back anyone to, you know, or send someone to protect, you know, his son, and he sends back that 100 and whatever pound chick, right, dude?
Yeah. You know what they should have had, dude? They should have had fucking Debo, dude, protecting the Antichrist.
This is my kid now. Yeah, dude. That would have been what kid? What adopted child? Yeah, motherfucking. That would have
or
got
Zeus.
over, dude.
Zeus, dude. It actually would have been better Zeus. Dude.
My grandmama gave me that dagger.
Yeah, my grandma. See, when they had remade this movie, and I've seen it, it's horrible because it's like scene for scene, quote for quote. I mean, the exact same movie. I'm like, why even remake it if you're gonna make it the same? And it's not even. And it has like the actors are nowhere near as good as these. It's like when you make a movie, you want to keep some of the stuff. And I mean, I hope, you know, maybe one day we'll review the remake. But I mean, that'll be way down the line, so we can trash it. But it's like, to me, if you're gonna remake a movie, do smart ass changes like that, like this, like you said, like, you know, why is he gonna, you know, the devil's gonna send in this chick, you know, like of all the chicks or anybody that's like, oh, I'm gonna send in this little weakling, dude, so she could be the nanny. You know, why don't you send over Zeus, dude, get him over and shit. No one's gonna fuck with Damien now, dude. You know,
Dr. Death, dude. Something like that, dude. Fucking protect Damien, dude. You know, something like that. What the fuck, dude?
Oh, fuck, dude. Hey, Chris, who would you send to protect Damien, dude, if you only could choose one wrestler, dude?
Fuck. Oh, man. That's tough, because I'm thinking, who do I know from the 70s that was that badass?
They don't have to be from the 70s. It can be from any era, son.
Oh, shit, man. I'd have a DX suit wearing Rick Rude.
Oh, my God.
With a briefcase.
What a difference day makes, or whatever the fuck he says, dude.
Oh my God! So not Brock Lesnar, not fucking not Brock Lesnar, not Danny Hodge, someone like Ken Shamrock, somebody that's known to put some real damage on people, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna get Rick Rude's over like a motherfucker, dude. But you don't start thinking about the biggest, toughest.
Imagine Haku.
Yeah, Haku, dude. Haku, yeah, dude. He fucking eat the dogs, dude. He eat all the dogs, dude, just because he's bored, dude.
Have you heard the shit? Oh yeah, and biting their noses and shit. Have you heard the fucking stories? Like Rick Rude making a whole biker gang back down and shit like that?
I have not.
Nash and Waltman both tell stories like that, and so does Stone Cold. If you listen to those three people who traveled with Rick Rude, they will tell you. Rick Rude, like no one got in his face. And what's his name? Rick Steiner was telling a Rick Rude story one time. He said that him and Scott and Rick Rude and Kurt Hennig would all go to the bar together, like after the shows. And he said Hennig would be like this ribbing, big mouth, big shot, and challenge people to arm wrestling matches. And then right there at the table, right before that, he'd grab Rick Rude and have him arm wrestle for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Rude beat everybody.
Yeah, that motherfucker's forearms. You see that shit? Fucking forearms were like as big as his fucking bicep and tricep, dude. Fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I just have Haku, dude. I'd have Haku take care of Damien, dude. No problem. No problem if I was Satan and Haku's got it, dude. Ripping out people's eyes and biting off their noses. So that's all you would need. But let's go ahead and rate this motherfucker, Christopher J. Let's hear your rating, son. And your overall thoughts, that whole spiel, dude.
Overall thoughts, man. Oh, this fucking movie is solid. 9.5. Solid.
What'd you like about it?
The story is good. It takes a good 40 minutes, 45 minutes to really come to terms, and you can see really all what's going on and what's happening, where they're starting to make a progression line into things, where it's not just people getting killed just because by this evil kid, just because like you see there's a why, you see what's going on, the bigger picture and all that. So Gregory Peck is excellent. Keith Jennings was a good character. That was a good character. Just the good and evil, the struggle. I like that you can tell that society had a clear sense of morality in the way that they present the characters and the struggle of the film.
All right, son. All right. So, for me, this used to be one of my favorite horror films growing up, dude. But when I watched it this fucking second time, or second run, I have to give this film like a 7 out of 10, dude. It tells a good, the idea is good. The execution's pretty good. I like some characters, but it seems to drag in spots, and it's kind of like the dialogue's not there to keep you really, really interested. Like I said, when I first saw it growing up, I thought it was like, wow, what the fuck, this is crazy. But watching it again, I mean, I still like the movie, but it's like it's like there's certain horror movies that you can watch like a lot of times and it'll still get over. But here, it's like once you've seen it and it's refreshed in your mind, you're like, I really don't need to go see it again. You know, I don't have the urge to go see it again. So I guess it'll be 20 years before I watch this motherfucker again. But I would say like a good 7 out of 10. I mean, that's kind of lowballing it, but that's just how I feel after watching it, dude. It seemed kind of, maybe it's that era that kind of, I don't know. But Mark, what are your thoughts, dude?
I'm gonna have to give it a good solid 3, dude. There's not enough baboons. There's not enough baboons in it for me, dude. How you gonna have a good horror movie without baboons, dude? And then at the very end, the last scene, dude, when they show Damien at the funeral, dude, and he's wearing that Malcolm Young or that Angus Young outfit, dude.
Yeah.
The fucking Angus Young outfit, dude. Dude. That just doesn't do it for me. But no, dude, I'm gonna give it like an 8. I'm gonna give that motherfucker an 8, dude. It's pretty good, dude. I like Gregory. I like that slow build up of movies, dude. Very slow, dude. It gives me time to get into it. I don't like all the let me get into it. Let me slide it in right away and just fucking nut, dude. No, dude. I like a slow deal, dude. It's my kind of movie, dude. My kind of movie for sure.
Yeah, no, I enjoy the slow ones, dude. Like, I love The Changeling. I think that one was, like, the perfect build-up. And this one, it has similar, trends that the other one did. But, I mean, dude, when you got George C. Scott and then you go to this guy's great. If I didn't see George C. Scott, last week, I might have given this like an 8 or even a 9, but after George C. Scott, dude, giving that eyebrow to everyone, it's just all downhill, dude. It's just all downhill after that eyebrow gets over, And Damien doesn't really do anything,
No,
that's true.
It don't seem like there's a vicious heel in there. I need a vicious heel, dude.
So I agree, dude. I agree, but they fucked up too, dude. They fucked up because they had that big ass fancy ass house, dude, and they showed it, but they didn't give you the full fucking feel of the house, how large it was, and you only saw a couple of rooms, dude. I was very disappointed with that.
Exactly.
I can have a horror movie and not show the fucking big fancy house, dude, where somebody's been murdered or something. They could have put a little twist on that, dude. Chris, what are you doing? I keep hearing that.
I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting here with my microphone.
There we go.
Talking about this? Oh, I was just it hit my hand a couple times. What'd you fucking do?
So
a couple of times.
So you are doing something. All right, got it, dude. Got it, dude. No, I'm glad you brought that up, dude, because it's like I guess. Jesus Christ, is there a fucking storm going on over there?
Oh, because I fidget a lot, okay? The mic has a lot of things you can fidget with. Jeez Louise.
Just leave the mic and don't touch it.
Yeah,
how's that?
Put your hands away. I mean, I'm sitting on the couch, no problem. My hitting my microphone, and oh my god, dude. Put your mic somewhere.
Well, you're God.
Yeah.
You're God.
Elevate your mic somewhere so if you hit something, it doesn't echo in or whatever. But anyway, I'm glad you brought that up. Is that you got this huge fucking home, way bigger than it's a little bit bigger than the Changeling home. And they get that motherfucking home over in the Changeling here. It's like there's no real scenery other than like the graveyard that you really remember from this film, because it's kind of like just they're not really getting the cinematography over. It's just kind of like the people. There's not, okay, we're taking you here and you're really engulfed in the scene. And like you go to the hospital and you really don't take any of the hospital in. There's no you know what I mean? I guess that's part of the problem with this film is they don't get the cinematography over. It's just kind of like
Jerusalem. You're like, let me just show a little part of Jerusalem. No big deal, dude. Every movie has Jerusalem in it, right?
Exactly. Just show some rocks. Still some rocks right here. That's it. But I think that's the biggest problem. If they would have had something to keep you occupied, because like the Changeling, I'm going back to that. Like, there's not too much shit that goes on other than we're following George C. Scott everywhere. But you're mesmerized when they're out there on the lake going horseback riding. You're mesmerized when they're in the house. They're mesmerized when, like, even when he's walking across the street, they show the whole city, and it's done fucking really well.